Hi, welcome to Clever Ghoul. I'm Nikki. In today's video, oh my god, why is it that when I want to make an intro, you gotta be doing drilling upstairs? Welcome to the channel. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's gonna be fun. So, I was going through Pinterest a few months ago, looking for things. I don't really remember what, but all of a sudden this random image that had nothing to do with what I was looking for popped up.
Meet the Pickle Sisters, a vaudeville group from the 1920s that I can't seem to find any information about. Well, at least nothing factual. There are a few made-up stories online, but I couldn't find anything concrete. Mostly just people sharing this picture and their name. Even Mrs. Kasha Davis tweeted about it a while ago. Anyways, back to the video.
So I saw this and I was like, absolutely, this needs to be made. We are making this. This is our Halloween costume. We are going to be a pickle sister. So we're gonna make a pickle hat. Do I look like an Oompa Loompa?
To get the right circumference for the hat, I needed to put the wig on that I'd be wearing with the final look before I took my head measurements. Birdie helped a lot. After measuring, I cut 2 strips of cardboard that would equal the total circumference of my noggin. These strips were going to act as the hat band. Next, I marked off about 1/2 inch increments along both halves of the band, and then I scored along those lines, being careful not to cut all the way through the band. Once I scored both halves, they were flexible and ready to become one circular band. So I taped them together on both sides, and later affixed them with masking tape and hot glue, which I did not film, and then got started on creating the dome for the top of the pickle. I cut more 1 3/4 inch strips out of cardboard to make the dome, and this is where I started to realize that cardboard wasn't going to work for the shape and stability of the hat.
So this is what I have so far. I kind of hate it. I put this tissue in here to kind of keep the band wide so that it would be like if my head was in there so it didn't collapse. It's not right, it's not working. This is also very ugly and that's part of the process sometimes, so you're welcome.
So I decided for my second attempt that I would keep the cardboard headband but use 2 wire arches for the dome of the pickle. So I added some tissue into the hat to keep the band circular, cut 2 pieces of armature wire, and positioned them so they crossed each other. I didn't measure in this part, I just went with what felt right. To attach them, I realized I could hot glue them into the corrugated interior of the cardboard, and then that way they wouldn't pinch my head. I added lots of hot glue on all the sides, top and bottom, and into the cardboard itself. Next, I realized that I needed to connect the taller and shorter arches so they didn't flop around. So I cut some 24 gauge wire that I had and wrapped it around the tops of each wire and secured it with more hot glue. Now that I had the general bones of the hat in place, I took some brown packing paper and secured it to the tops of the arches to get a rough dome shape. Next, I took some foil and wrapped it around the hat to start making the cylindrical part of the pickle. Side note, I did clean off some foil that I had used a few days before, so some of that is reused, but I also used some new pieces too. Before finishing the foiling process, I also noticed the cylinder portion of the pickle could use some more structure, so I cut another piece of the armature wire and made a mostly complete circle that I glued into the existing arches as well as the foil. When the structure was done, I stuffed it with various materials to keep the shape of the foil and the hat band the way I wanted it. Now for the paper mache! I ripped apart scrap paper that I had into strips. Here you can see I used a grocery bag and some more of that brown packing paper. For paper mache paste, there are so many different methods you can utilize. Some include flour and/or liquid starch, which I do use sometimes. But for this project, I used about a 1-to-1 ratio of Mod Podge and water, using slightly more glue than water so it wasn't too thin and liquidy. I also added a pinch of salt to inhibit mold growth. I spent the rest of the day adding a layer of paper mache, letting it dry, and repeating over and over again.
So if you remember in the reference image, there's little bumps going up the hat, and I thought, well, we have to make this glam, obviously. So I bought these little like half pearls. Am I a beauty influencer now? Not with those nails, girl. I bought these little half pearls in a bunch of different sizes, and I don't really have the right greens or yellows to make this color, and now I'm kind of thinking I want to make it a little metallic-y. So I'm gonna go to the craft store and get some paint, and I want to get a sealer spray to put on top of it so it looks a little glossier like it does in the picture.
Halloween. Oh, my heart is so happy. anyway.
So, I just went to the merchant, Michael, and I got one of these bad boys, one of these sponges, and 3 of these, which seem to be exactly the right color I need, so we're gonna go for it. And lastly, I needed more of the glossy luster Mod Podge. Did you know it's called Mod Podge? I have been calling it Mod Podge for probably 30 years. Today I learned, and I feel really kind of stupid. But also I think Mod Podge sounds better, so Mod Podge. Okay, let's go home.
As I went through this process, I noticed there were some dips happening into the hat. So I took some of the grocery bag paper, wadded it up, and sort of filled the bumps with them. I would hot glue them down into the bump, and to ensure I had a smooth surface, I covered the wadded up paper with another flat piece of scrap paper with hot glue and masking tape, almost like I was putting a band-aid on it. And then I covered it with a layer or 2 of paper mache. The hat was still slightly lumpy in the end, but this smoothed out any of the majorly big divots. So I just woke up and immediately came in here to do this. It's like, Harry Potter, you're a lizard, Harry. I can't do a British accent. I'm so sorry. Harry Potter. Anyway, I just woke up. Gonna sand this down a little bit and then we're gonna get into painting. I kind of feel like maybe I got the wrong paint color. I had nightmares about painting and everything turned out yellow or like olive tone. And then I looked at the paint this morning and I thought it kind of does look olive tone. And oh my God, was the lighting in Michael's really weird. Basically, my anxiety, which I've named Carol, she just started talking to me this morning and last night, I guess, in my dreams. Basically, I just been hearing in my head, like, you can't do this. This is gonna be off. No one's gonna like your video. But you know what? It's the first pancake, so of course it's gonna be kind of weird and awkward and whatever. Hopefully you find this endearing, or at least like kind of fun. I look like a mushroom. I look like a morel mushroom. But I think this is all gonna come together today. You know, one of the hats in the picture had a stem, but the rest didn't. Depending on how the rest of this day goes, I may or may not add a stem. But I kind of feel like at this point, just leave it. Add the shiny lumpy bumpies. Right now we're gonna get into some sanding. And then we paint. To see if I liked the paint, I mixed the metallic one I bought with a flat green I already had to see if it worked with the green pearls, and it did. I was so relieved I didn't have to go back to the craft store, I can't even tell y'all. Now that I knew we were good to go, I decided to paint a layer of white acrylic paint onto the hat, covering up any of the paper mache layers and providing an even and bright base for my green paint. Then, because I'm super impatient, I decided to speed up the process and blow dry the white paint. Yeah, that's my diffusing hairdryer for curly hair. I couldn't get the diffuser off. Whatever. It did the job, okay? No judgment. Finally, it's time to get pickled. Hate that. I ended up mixing a paint called Holiday Green with the metallic green paint in order to get the perfect color. I used a big sponge brush, and at first I started painting with it like a regular brush, which just leaves the paint thin and streaky, as you can see. So I changed my method and sponged the paint on in layers, which not only left me with better coverage, but made the process go faster and added some dimension. While the paint was drying, I made those necklaces that are hanging from their hats. Using some 38mm bead-along stringing wire and faux pearls I had on hand, I began stringing together the first necklace. In the original picture, it looks like the sisters had various beads on their necklaces, so I decided to add some of the flat back green pearls and some flat back rhinestones that I had. When I wanted to use the flat back pearls or gems, I stuck them shiny or pearly side down to the table using some tape, put some hot glue on top of the flat part that was facing up at me, placed the necklace string into the glue, and then sealed the whole thing by sandwiching a matching flat back pearl or gem on top so it mimicked a real bead. I made one longer and shorter necklace so that I had the same sort of look as the Pickle sisters did. Now that the paint was dry, it was time to add the bumps to make my pickle really look the part. I looked at the source image as well as some images of pickles and started hot gluing the pearls down. I was careful to place larger pearls farther apart from each other and fill in the rest of the space with the varying sizes to create a more realistic bump pattern that pickles would have. I did this on both sides, mimicking, again, where a pickle has bumps, and also keeping in mind the aesthetics of the Pickle Sister hats. Once both sides were done, I sealed the entire hat with glossy Mod Podge. I probably should have done this pre-bumping the pickle, but I do what I want. I also used my fingers to do this, adding the glue in thin circular motions so there were no brush strokes. I feel like it actually went faster for me this way, made it easier to go around the pearls, and it dried nicer because there were no streaky streaks. Again, this is a Nikki method and not necessarily the best way for everyone else to go about it, but hey, it works for me. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the reveal!
I'm so happy with how the hat came out. It was a total hit at the party that I went to, and I'm just so proud of myself for making it. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Hi. Welcome to Clever Ghoul. I'm Nikki. I totally can feel the panic in my face. Hi. Nope. I like blank out the second. Oh, I guess I should welcome you to the channel. Okay. Welcome to the channel. There's little bumps going. Can you not? It's so hot. Am I a beauty influencer now? Not with those nails, girl.
Hello.
Oh shit. What else? Halloween mug. Halloween mug check. Halloween mug check. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm on an iPhone. I'm always looking at the wrong place too. I don't know why I'm doing this, pretending to be a beauty influencer. I'm on an iPhone. There's no autofocus. I have to. Exactly.